Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Monal Patel, and thank you for joining our webinar, Unlocking Powerful Merchandising Hacks to Optimize Site Search. I am the SVP and Chief Business Officer for an amazing company called Unbox. To give you an idea of what we're going to talk about a little bit today, uh, here's the agenda, a little bit about us. What are we going to cover in terms of site search and what's the missed merchandising opportunity? Walk you through some examples in 5 specific areas related to site search and merchandising, and then we'll close it out with questions in the end. Again, we'll share some of the details of how do we personalize analysis of your site. So to give you a little bit of background about us, Unbox started its journey about 4 years ago, product discovery, and we built not just a system, but an awesome solution. So what's so awesome about it? It is highly customized for each retailer, even if you're a small specialty site. While it's customized, it's still affordable and competitively priced. It's extremely easy to use and deploys within just 2 weeks. We have a track record of about 99.99% uptime because our infrastructure automatically can scale up when we have more traffic and scale out when we don't. Because of our extremely competitive differentiators, we are a global company today with about 1,200 plus clients globally, and 300 out of that right here in the US. Our customers span across different industries like apparel, mass merchant, hardline, and grocery. Here's some examples of our customers. Large enterprise customers like Target.com, Newegg.com, Bell's Florida, Bell's department store, and some famous brands like Express, Chinese Laundry, Deborah Lippman are our customers. We also work on a lot of different platforms, ATG, IBM WebSphere, Magento, Shopify, Hybris, Demandware, etc., and NetSuite. We also work with a lot of partners, and enough about us. Okay, so let's get started right into what is the missed merchandising opportunity for site search. Okay. Well, merchandisers focus strongly on homepage product distribution, themed experiences, discounts, and offers. Searchandising, that's the term search merchandising has been coined. Searchandising often gets ignored. However, there is a large scope for merchandisers to optimize site search and increase conversions. So before we get started here, just to get our bearings right, I'm going to do a quick poll for everybody. The question here is, do you merchandise and optimize site search results today? Just to give us an idea, there's 3 options. Obviously, if you do, carefully optimize and curate. If you somewhat do, just look at a very specific piece like zero result queries, etc. Or you don't do merchandising of search results at all today. All right, I'll give you a couple of seconds to just fill out that poll. All right, so roughly about 78% of the customers so far, 70 to 75 customers are in the somewhat category. 20 to 30% say we don't merchandise at all. So nobody said that they carefully optimize and curate today. It's interesting. Okay, let's get started. So what's the one big stat? 80% abandon a site after a poor search experience. This is the stat. The debate over whether site search is important or not is over. It was over in 2012. If you still want to debate that, find somebody who's still living in 2012 and you can debate with them. So what makes for a great site search experience? Here's some of the elements from a technology perspective that we believe it makes an important difference. It has to be fast, it has to be accurate, predictive, provide refinements, and it has to have error tolerance. So how can we make it even better? So let's assume the ones that I've already showed are on the left-hand side. Okay, so site search, we talked about the ones on the left-hand side. What is important about site search? Well, what's the next piece on that? Intent. Context-aware site search is extremely important. Customers expect relevant search results based on the intent of their query. And this becomes true for natural language and long-tail queries, especially queries that have 2 or more keywords. Because customers are used to searching on Google and Amazon, and they expect your search to work the same way. Next is trends. Site search results need to reflect current trends, seasons, occasions in order to be relevant rather than just to be accurate. For example, if I search for a dress in the summer versus in the winter, what kind of results I see will depend whether it's relevant or not. Location specific. Location does play a part in what your customers expect. Weather trends, local trends, demographics all come together, and you need to offer a hyper-local search experience. Personalized. Customers want results tailored to them. We've seen personalized recommendations become popular, and now we are seeing the rise of personalization in search and in navigation. And intuitive. Customers want site search that is easy to use and requires no learning curve. For example, in mobile, it would be very difficult to use filters, but if you redesign the filters in such a way that they're easy to use, it will make a big difference. Now, the problem here is most sites focus on the left, but not on the right. Okay? So here is where technology brings relevancy, but may not be enough. And so merchandising can bring that personal and human aspect to the technology. Okay? And it is our observation that algorithm and search technology is the first step, though it's astonishing how many e-commerce sites still use outdated search technology. Integrating a merchandiser's insight with site search technology will result in a better customized search experience. Okay, so how do you customize and optimize search results using merchandising? We're going to cover 5 different steps, and we're going to give examples for each one of these distinct areas of best practices. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Encourage product discovery. Here, the first interaction that a customer has with site search is autocomplete. So what can we do in this first interaction a customer has with site search? It's imperative that these products that you show, whether the search suggestions come up or the best sellers come up, are click-worthy and engage customers quickly. So curating a list of popular products shown in the autocomplete can become extremely important from a merchandising perspective. One way you can have a technology that automatically figures this out. Second is on top of that, you can have a merchandising element that actually helps you make this even more focused. Here's an example for a grocery site. The autocomplete here is almost like a canvas for merchandisers. There's all these different elements that a merchandiser can add control based on your vertical. Here, in grocery vertical, popular brands and categories are mentioned to help customers frame their next query. So the technology piece on the left-hand side, where you see all the products listed, already takes care of personalizing the results to that individual user. However, a merchant can decide to say, should we show commonly searched terms to help the customer just in case if they were not looking to buy what they normally buy? Can we help them with popular brands? Can we help them with categories? And these can be decided based on the categories and brands that perform well in terms of conversions, or based on the occasion, for example, barbecue supplies during 4th of July. Offers can also be highlighted here to encourage impulse purchases. So this is also something you can make it as a revenue source for your company. Another example for autocomplete option that focuses both on new arrivals and popular products. So you can see here there's 2 elements to the autocomplete, new arrivals and top sellers, and merchants can customize and merchandise the new arrivals section. The next piece here to show is in the search results itself. There's a couple of elements here. One is you can highlight new arrivals, but that's basically creating an overlay. How can you expose the customer to make sure, especially in the fashion world, new arrivals are extremely important because that's what keeps customers coming back to your site, is to create overlays on particular products for new arrivals. Now, the overlays can be about new arrivals, on sales, on clearance, and all of these little merchandising elements can really help you differentiate and help the customer really differentiate as to why that product is being shown today. The second half of that is to actually sort the results or filter the results based on new arrivals. So you can have a very specific merchandised category in your taxonomy called new arrivals, new shoes, new dresses, new handbags, etc. And you want a merchandising tool on the back end that can actually make it very easy for you to actually show and create those types of pages. And that makes it for a very, very easy site search and a navigation solution. Highlighting top sellers. Now, when somebody's searching for a particular set of search results, you can also show top sellers that are relevant to that search query. So the technology could come in, underlying technology could come in to show the relevant top sellers, but the merchants can decide and figure out where to place these top sellers on the search results page. Should they be at the top? Should they be in the middle after second row, or at the bottom of the search results page? Similar products. So here, a customer might not know why she likes these shoes or too many reasons why she likes these shoes. What she might be interested in, what merchants can really help in evaluating and giving her alternatives very quickly, is to provide with this element of see similar products. What that would allow them to do is open up in a modal window that will inherently do a search of similar products in the system and show some relevant products that again can be merchandised. Okay. Now, if let's say you have, for sites with multiple categories, certain search queries could span across multiple categories. In this case, showing bucketed search results is advantageous to ensure customers see the breadth of the catalog. So relevancy is obviously key here to make sure that the 3 or 4 results don't show inaccurate results, which would obviously customers think that mistakenly assume that those products don't actually exist in your catalog. So how do you actually decide to show from a merchandising perspective? Within tote bags here, when I'm searching for Alexander Wang, or shoulder bags, can I pin some of the products that show up? Or can I show dresses first? Can I show shoulder bags second because dresses are more popular? That can be a merchandising hack that can actually implement. Improve search relevance. So before we get into this piece, let's do a quick poll again, just to get an idea. The question here is, how do you ensure search relevancy on your site today? Do you rely on site search technology plus merchandising, or you haven't really thought about it? Okay, and I'll give you guys a few seconds to just answer. All right, awesome. So it's a spread. So 57% rely on site search technology, 20 on both, and 27 on never really thought about it. Okay, all right, fantastic. So let's get into it. Improving search relevance. Okay, so here, when customers search using head queries, like for example, in this case, they're searching for mobile, results can span across multiple categories. The intent is not very clear, so guide your customers to narrow down to a category or a subcategory. Otherwise, your customers will be lost in the plethora of other filters, especially if you have lots of products. So now the merchandising hack here is, do you want to show this particular subcategory list and in which order? The technology does exist today to make sure that you can show the relevant subcategories and in the more popular order. However, if you don't have access to this technology, you can create a merchandising hack to create for most popular queries, and head queries will be your most popular queries, and create a guided example like this. Improve head queries. So this is something you don't want to do, where when I'm searching for mobile, most importantly, it always then shows the most popular products. So smartphones are obviously going to be the most popular products, and that's what I'm essentially going to end up seeing. So you may have several subcategories for this particular query. However, you'll only end up showing mobile phones. So don't do that. Just try to help and guide the customer with a guided way of showing the subcategories up top. Okay. You can also curate results to maximize clicks. Now, when somebody's searching for, say, dresses as an example, the backend merchandising system should be able to give you the ability to quickly pin products and show the products that you, from a merchant's perspective, are extremely important that a customer should see for this particular query, especially if you have a slightly larger catalog or large number of products. Anything more than 20, 25 products for a particular category or a particular query, you definitely want to make sure that it's showing the top products up top. Okay. Now, color search synonyms. So here, the idea is that, again, a good search system will obviously allow you to get a out-of-the-box synonym corpus. But if you don't have that, you want to make sure how customers actually search. So customers don't always search the way we want them to. So it might say blue nail polish, but they might search for indigo, or they might say sky blue. And you need to make sure that all of these different color variations, especially in the fashion brand in fashion world becomes important, that these synonyms exist on the back end. Out of stock products. Again, from a merchant's perspective, you want to make sure that you don't show out of stock products unless it actually makes a business sense to create urgency. Sometimes it does create that, but a lot of times it might not. So, how do you hide or minimize out of stock products? So one of the ways you can do it is filter. So you can always create a filter on your backend in your merchandising tool to say always show products that are available. But if it does make sense to show out of stock products, to ensure that the customers don't see that as the first option, you might want to bury or de-boost those products at the bottom of the result set. All right. Some edge cases that impact relevance. Combo deals. This is really critical because combo deals sometimes interfere with search relevancy, especially since merchants usually boost these bundles to promote sales. So for example, if I'm searching for a laptop, it makes sense that you show me laptops with speakers and mouse and stuff like that. However, if I'm searching for speakers, it may not always make sense to show the laptop speaker bundle, okay? Because which way is the bundle actually useful to the customer is extremely important. So it is essential to check top queries involving bundles and make sure you rank products in order to satisfy accuracy and adequately promote combos where it makes sense. Okay. All right, number 3, create occasion-based experiences. We want to make sure that you have the ability to, say, create custom landing pages. So as a merchandising hack, you know that different seasons require you to always freshen up the inventory. Christmas comes every year. You want to make sure that this year, when customers are coming to your site, you are able to show something more related to what is happening in your world. So seasonal searches. If I am creating a landing page for seasonal searches like Christmas, customers may see what's in season, but they might also search for some keywords. So make sure it's not just from your navigation perspective, but also from your search perspective. You're taking care of seasonal search queries like these. Trending products. Say a customer is searching for summer dresses or dresses in the summer season. You want to make sure that in the summer season, when somebody's searching for dresses, summer dresses actually show up top. And when they're looking for dresses in winter, maybe winter dresses, and that may mean darker colors versus in summer it might be more lighter floral colors, etc. Okay, so promote trending seasonal products based for standard queries. Okay, here, recommend products based on occasions, trends. So when I'm looking for a handbag, you might want to actually suggest top matching categories. For here is the example of Mother's Day. So Mother's Day, we just passed it. Show some top sellers based on that occasion. And so merchants can easily curate some of these products and show them. Okay. Recommend products based on occasions. And how do you do that? How do you consider based on location, based on sales data, what are your top selling products for a particular occasion or a season? So if something is trending for Mother's Day, you might want to only look at the last 1 week's worth of products, right? Or maybe something like Christmas, you might want to look for a 1 month set of products. Okay. So restrict the period of sales data considered to ensure timely recommendation. Next is number 4, achieve business objectives. Okay, so achieving business objectives could be like what? Increase profit, very standard. Manage inventory, something that becomes really important, especially for a merchant. Increasing click-throughs, something that you're just starting out and making sure that you want to expose a certain set of category. If it's a brand new category you've started, all you want to see is start engagement and see engagement from customers. So how do you increase profit? By curating results and promoting high margin products, okay? Or by bundling products. You might want to also promote bundles in a certain way, but be careful again with the bundles like we talked about earlier. So from your merchandising tools, you can sort products based on profit margin, managing inventory. So promote products with high inventory levels. That's another merchandising hack. Increase click-throughs. So step 1, if you don't have a automated tool that actually analyzes and figures out your best-selling products using the analytics on the data on the site, you might have to do this manually, but the step 1 would be figuring out what are your best-selling items, either based on your past data or based on your forecasting data or both. So look at your current sales data, look at your forecasting sales data, look at your current trends, and identify these best-selling items and mark them, sort based on those products. So you can individually or group some of these products and flag them as your best sellers and sort the product results based on that. Okay. The last piece is creating a memorable user experience. Okay. What does that mean? A lot of times from a physical world in the brick and mortar stores, a very common merchandising tactic is to sort by color. Okay. And the biggest question we get from a lot of retailers is why can't we do that online as well? So we did that with one of our customers, Deborah Lipman. So what Deborah Lipman basically did was for a specific set of high head queries, they curated their backend system to actually sort by color. And so their navigation, their search consistently provides a result set based on color. And color is extremely important for Deborah Lipman because that's where their differentiator is. Okay. So this is what it looks like on the system, and that's what the customers also see. The next thing from a user experience perspective is to merchandise filter fields. So here, the idea is to give the ability to merchants to make sure that when there is a particular type of option more popular. So let's say we're looking at brands, and here you can see it's not sorted alphabetically because you might have 100 brands that you're selling. In that case, which are the brands that are most popular? You can sort them, you can hide them, you can elevate them and merchandise them in a particular way. You can also not just specific filter fields, but entire filters and facets can be resorted as well. That is also another way to sort of optimize the customer experience, because if you are buying shoes versus buying watches, different sets of filters make sense. And so merchants should look at it from that perspective and see what filters actually are more relevant. So highlight the frequently used filters. Okay. Recommendations on zero results. This is extremely important because no system is perfect, neither is Unboxes. So you will get zero results a lot of times. And when you do get zero results, what is it that a merchant can do to help a customer from a user experience? Give her the ability to either go back or to move forward. If you don't have an automated system, at least from a manual perspective, you can show some of your top selling products. Okay, so there's an opportunity to highlight some of your best sellers, some of your trending products, etc. Maybe based on season, maybe based on occasion, etc. So what are the key takeaways from all of the conversation here? Site search, there's a large scope for merchandising because there are a lot of different ways that customers search for products today. And just with relevancy and technology, you cannot solve and help the customers all the time. You need a little bit of a design element and a lot of the merchandising element also. Search plus merchandising provides a fast, relevant, and a human aspect to the whole search experience. Merchandising can be used to marry business objectives with a relevant search experience, and that is extremely key. Relevancy alone cannot solve all the problems. You need to make sure that the relevancy is married with merchandising to provide and solve some of your business objectives. And not every practice applies to this site. This is obviously curated based on best practices we've seen across the spectrum of our clients. So make sure you test, you iterate, and repeat. Okay. So quick round for questions. Okay, so there's 3 or 4 questions. Okay, fantastic. All right, so the question number 1 is, how do you measure the success of merchandising campaigns? So there's a lot of analytics to really look at it from this perspective, but obviously the key one is, the biggest one is to obviously look at conversion rates. That is always going to be, why do you want to merchandise? Because we want to improve conversion rates. But you have to look at the middle of the funnel as well to try to identify if you're taking the right steps to actually improve that. So reduction in bounce rates, obviously increase in conversions, the number of searches it takes for a customer to reach to the product page, extremely important. That really isolates and gives you an idea as to, is the search system good enough? Have you merchandised this the right way so they can get to the right products quickly? Another question is, does our platform work with BigCommerce? It does. So I apologize for not putting BigCommerce on the homepage there. on the first page. But yes, Magento, Enterprise Community, all the different versions of Magento, BigCommerce, NetSuite, Shopify, ATG Hybris, Volusion. We've also worked with Volusion, EPI servers, etc. Next question is, how do I merchandise to reduce zero results instances? Okay, it's a great question. So here, from a get-go, if you are using a good solution, you want error tolerance. So search, especially on mobile, people make spelling mistakes a lot, and that's where you normally see your biggest zero results. So spelling mistakes, you want spell check. Second is what we've seen is synonyms. So customers use keywords that may not necessarily be in your catalog, or they describe products very differently than how you do. And so you want synonym corpus. Third is understanding the user intent and relevancy. So this becomes important for long tail queries where there's 2 keywords or 3 keywords being used to actually search for products. And at the very end, again, even if you do get zero results, make sure that you give the customer the ability to go back or to go forward. I manage an online grocery site and found some of the hacks relevant. Okay, that can I get a resource that details what your tool can do? Okay, so what we can do is one of the things that we had talked about was how can we take all of these elements and actually give you the ability to review that in the context of your business. So one of the free services that we provide is if you go to unbox.com/searchgrader and sign up, we will give you a grader that will actually identify where the most opportunities lie from a search perspective and from a merchandising perspective. So that's one way to do that. And obviously, we'll be sharing some of these slides as well with you. Whoever wants to request that, that is also going to be available. The last question is, what effective merchandising strategies can I use on mobile? So we just did a mobile webinar. Let me see if I can just quickly open that. So from a refinement perspective, having refinements on mobile, for example. So a lot of customers don't provide refinement options on mobile because from a design perspective, they feel there's not enough space, but you have to do that. And don't just provide one option and not the other, okay? So that's one. Next is highlight some of these facets. Train your customers and give them a easy to use way of figuring out how to do facets. Okay, here's some of our category refinements. If I search for shoes, we know that it crosses multiple categories like men, women, boys, girls, etc. Make sure you highlight that. You still show some shoes, but you still highlight them. Next is, now again, if I click shoes for women, if there's subcategories within that, start highlighting that as well. So guide the customer, especially for these head queries, and then show the results when you've actually made the intent very, very clear. Okay, here's another way of doing that. And there's a whole webinar around that. So please reach out if you would like to set up a separate conversation, a quick overview of this, or request this mobile webinar as well. And we'll be more than happy to share that with you. There's tons and tons of information in terms of how you can improve the merchandising and search results. How do you design it in such a way for mobile experiences? Okay. Oh, there's another question. From an organizational viewpoint, does it make sense to have someone managing search full-time, or should it be owned by merchandising? Okay, that's a great question. So it depends on the size of the organization, obviously. Now, and also depends on what you're using for search. For example, if search is a big factor on your site, if you're getting tons and tons of queries, and your merchants are responsible for making sure, and the merchants are also very active because the catalog changes consistently and you're applying different business rules and objectives on a different time, merchants should be managing search as well, because from both perspectives, merchants are sort of responsible for product discovery. They want to make sure that the right products show up for the customers at the right time. Now, if the merchants don't have enough time in the day to actually separate these two things out, you want to have somebody manage search full-time for you. Absolutely. It's a great question. Depends on the size of the organization, though. That's a great question, though. All right, fantastic. Well, thank you, everyone. We really appreciate your time. Again, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know if you're interested.